When Maya returns a wallet containing thousands in cash to a dangerous stranger, she expects nothing in return. But Kang Min-ho sees something in her honesty that no one in his criminal empire has ever shown him. What begins as a simple act of integrity spirals into a high-stakes romance that forces them both to choose between the lives they know and the people they want to become. As threats close in and loyalties are tested, Maya must decide if love is worth the risk, and if a man built by violence can truly transform himself for the woman who refused to be bought. The plate shattered against the wall, missing Maya's head by inches. "I said no sesame oil," the woman in the Chanel suit shrieked, her face contorted with rage. "Are you stupid? Do you not understand English?" Maya stood perfectly still, her heart hammering against her ribs, but her face remained calm. She'd learned that much in 3 years of waiting tables at Seoul Garden. Never let them see you break. Never give them the satisfaction. "I apologize, ma'am," Maya said, her voice steady even as she felt the eyes of every customer in the restaurant burning into her back. "I'll have the kitchen prepare a new order immediately, exactly to your specifications." "Forget it." The woman threw her napkin down and stormed out, her husband trailing behind with an apologetic shrug. Maya bent down to pick up the broken ceramic, her hands trembling now that the confrontation was over. This was the second plate thrown at her this month. The third customer meltdown this week. She was so tired she could barely see straight, having worked a double shift after covering for another server who called in sick. Again. "Girl, you okay?" Jennifer rushed over, her bleached blonde hair pulled back in a tight bun. She crouched down to help collect the larger pieces. "That crazy woman could have killed you." "I'm fine." Maya's voice was flat. She had to be fine. Fine meant she could make rent. Fine meant her little brother Marcus could stay in college. Fine meant she could keep pretending that working herself to death in a Korean barbecue restaurant in Koreatown was somehow noble, somehow enough. "You know Mr. Park's gonna dock your pay for that plate," Jennifer whispered. Maya closed her eyes briefly. "Of course he would. It's whatever. I've got table 12 still. Maybe they'll tip decent." Jennifer's expression shifted, something between concern and warning flickering across her face. "About table 12. Maya, those guys there." "Jennifer. Order up." The kitchen manager's voice cut through the dining room. Jennifer squeezed Maya's shoulder before hurrying away, leaving Maya to dump the broken plate in the trash. She straightened her black apron, tucked a loose braid behind her ear, and forced her professional smile back into place. Bills didn't pay themselves. Marcus's tuition was due in 2 weeks. She could survive anything for 2 more weeks. The restaurant had returned to its normal hum of conversation and sizzling meat on tabletop grills. Maya grabbed a pitcher of water and made her rounds, refilling glasses with mechanical efficiency. She'd just finished with table 9 when she noticed table 12 for the first time that evening. For men in expensive suits. Too expensive for this neighborhood. They sat with the rigid posture of people who expected trouble or were trouble themselves. But it was the man at the head of the table who made Maya step slow. He was beautiful in a way that seemed almost dangerous. Sharp jawline, dark hair swept back from his face, eyes so dark they appeared black in the dim restaurant lighting. He couldn't have been much older than 30, but he carried himself with an authority that made the other men, all at least a decade his senior, defer to his every movement. When he lifted his hand, a server appeared. When he frowned at his phone, everyone at the table went silent. But it was the coldness in his expression that struck Maya most. Like he was looking at the world from behind bulletproof glass, seeing everything but feeling nothing. "That's table 12, Mr. Park appeared at her elbow, making her jump. The restaurant owner's voice was low and urgent. "The one at the head, that's Kang Min-ho. Be very polite. Very professional. Do not make him unhappy." "Who is he?" Maya asked, but Mr. Park was already walking away, his shoulders tense. Maya approached the table with her notepad ready. "Good evening, gentlemen. Can I start you off with some appetizers? We have excellent." Galbi, the beautiful man said without looking up from his phone. His voice was deep, smooth, with just a hint of an accent. Dekalbi. Kimchi jjigae. Soju, the expensive one. He spoke in Korean to his companions, rapid-fire sentences that Maya couldn't follow. The other men laughed at something he said, but there was no warmth in the sound. Of course, Maya said, writing quickly. And how would you like the galbi prepared? For the first time, Kang Min-ho looked directly at her. His eyes swept over her face with analytical precision, like he was cataloging every feature, every micro-expression. Maya fought the urge to step back. Medium rare. Sam vegetables, extra garlic. He paused. You speak Korean? I'm learning, Maya admitted. But I'm not very good yet. Something flickered in his expression, too quick to identify. Then learn faster. You work in a Korean restaurant. It wasn't said meanly, just stated as fact, which somehow made it worse. Maya felt her cheeks heat with embarrassment and anger, but she swallowed both. I'll put your order in right away. She turned on her heel and walked to the kitchen, her jaw clenched so tight it ached. Who did he think he was? Just because he wore a suit that probably cost more than her car didn't give him the right to be condescending. But as she clipped the order to the kitchen line, she couldn't shake the image of those dark eyes, the way they looked at her like he could see straight through her professional mask to the exhausted, scared woman underneath. The rest of their meal passed without incident. Maya served their food with efficient politeness, refilled their drinks, cleared their plates. Kang Min-ho didn't look at her again, absorbed in whatever business discussion required such intense, whispered conversation. Twice his phone rang, and twice he stepped outside to take the call, returning each time with an even more closed-off expression. It was nearly 11 when the men finally stood to leave. Maya approached with the bill folder, but one of the other men, older, with a scar across his cheek, waved her off. Already settled with the front. They filed out, a wall of expensive suits and expensive cologne. Maya started clearing the table, exhausted down to her bones, already thinking about the bus ride home and whether she had enough instant ramen for dinner. That's when she saw it. A wallet, black leather, clearly expensive, lying on the seat where Kang Min-ho had been sitting. Maya picked it up, the leather soft and warm in her hands. She should run after them, catch them before they left the parking lot. But curiosity got the better of her. She opened it. Her breath caught. Hundreds of dollars in cash, maybe thousands. A black credit card with weight to it that screamed unlimited. A California driver's license with his face, God, even his DMV photo was perfect, and the name Kang Min-ho. And a business card, simple white with embossed black text, Kang Min-ho. Import, export. Holy shit, Jennifer breathed, appearing at her shoulder. Is that from table 12? He left it. Maya's mind was racing. $3,000, maybe more. That was Marcus's tuition. That was her rent for 3 months. That was everything she needed. Girl. Jennifer's voice dropped low. Nobody would know. He's probably so rich he wouldn't even notice. You could. No. Maya closed the wallet with a snap. I need to return it. Maya, are you insane? Do you know what you could do with that money? I know exactly what I could do with it. Maya met her friend's eyes. And I'd know exactly how I got it. I'd have to live with that every single day. Her mama's voice echoed in her memory, clear as if she were standing right there. Do right even when no one's watching, baby girl, because you have to live with yourself. Maya pulled out her phone and dialed the number on the business card, her heart pounding. It rang 3 times before a male voice answered, sharp and suspicious. Who is this? Hi, my name is Maya Johnson. I'm a server at Seoul Garden Restaurant. Mr. Kang left his wallet here tonight, and I wanted to let someone know so he could come get it. Silence on the other end, long enough that Maya wondered if the call had dropped. You have it there? The wallet? Yes, sir. Everything's still inside. I made sure. Keep it safe. Someone will retrieve it tomorrow. The line went dead. Maya stared at her phone, an uneasy feeling settling in her stomach. Something about this didn't feel right. But she'd done the right thing. She knew she had. She just wished the right thing didn't feel so much like she'd just made a terrible mistake. The next evening, Maya's feet ached before her shift even started. She'd barely slept, her mind replaying that phone call, the coldness in the voice on the other end. Mr. Park had locked Kang Min-ho's wallet in the office safe, and every time Maya passed by, she felt its presence like a weight. Table 7 needs more banchan, Jennifer called out, snapping Maya back to reality. And girl, don't look now, but your mystery man just walked in. Maya's head whipped toward the entrance. Kang Min-ho stood in the doorway, and this time he was alone. No entourage, no bodyguards flanking him. Just him in a charcoal gray suit that fit him like a second skin, his dark eyes scanning the restaurant with predatory focus until they landed on her. Her stomach dropped. He walked directly to her section and sat down at the same table as the night before. Maya grabbed a menu with trembling hands and approached, trying to project confidence she absolutely did not feel. "Good evening, Mr. Kang. Welcome back." Her voice came out steadier than she expected. "I have your wallet in the back. Let me just sit down." It wasn't a request. Maya glanced around nervously. Mr. Park was watching from the kitchen window, his face pale. "I can't, I'm working. But I can bring your wallet right now." I said sit. This time his voice carried an edge that made her knees weak. "Please." The please seemed to cost him something. Maya slid into the seat across from him, her heart hammering so hard she was sure he could hear it. Kang Min-ho reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small notebook. He flipped it open, and Maya saw numbers written in neat columns. "When I called my assistant last night, I told him there was $3,000 in my wallet. Can you confirm that amount?" Maya's mouth went dry. Was this a trick? A test? "No, sir." His eyes narrowed dangerously. "No, there was $3,500. 3,500. I wrote it down to make sure everything was accounted for." Maya's voice was barely above a whisper. "I wanted to make sure nothing went missing before you got it back." For a long moment, Kang Min-ho just stared at her. Then something extraordinary happened. The ice in his expression cracked, just slightly, revealing something that might have been surprise. Might have been respect. "You counted it. It wasn't a question." "Yes, sir." "And you wrote it down." "Yes, sir." "Why?" The question caught her off guard. Because it was the right thing to do? I didn't want there to be any question about whether everything was there. Kang Min-ho leaned back in his chair, studying her with an intensity that made her want to disappear. "Do you know who I am, Miss Johnson?" The business card said import-export. Maya met his eyes, even though everything in her screamed to look away. "But the way everyone acts around you tells me there's more to it than that." A ghost of a smile touched his lips, gone so fast she might have imagined it. "You're observant. I'm a waitress in Koreatown. You learn to read people. And what do you read from me?" Maya shouldn't answer. She should excuse herself, get his wallet, and never think about this man again. But something reckless rose up in her chest, maybe exhaustion, maybe just 3 years of being talked down to and treated like she was invisible. "I think you're used to people being afraid of you," she said quietly. "I think you're testing me for some reason I don't understand. And I think you're surprised that I'm not trying to take advantage of you." Kang Min-ho's expression shifted again, that crack in his armor widening just a fraction. "Most people would have kept the money. I'm not most people." "No." His voice was soft now, almost contemplative. "You're not." He reached into his jacket again and pulled out a money clip, peeling off $500 bills. "For your honesty." Maya's eyes widened. "I don't want your money, Mr. Kang. I just did what anyone should do. But they don't." He placed the bills on the table between them. "They don't do what they should. They do what benefits them. You didn't. That doesn't mean you owe me anything." Maya stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Your wallet is in the office safe. I'll go get it. Wait. His hand shot out, not touching her but close enough that she froze. Have dinner with me. Maya's laugh came out sharp and disbelieving. What? Dinner. Tomorrow night. Let me take you somewhere nice, somewhere you don't have to serve anyone. Why would you want to have dinner with me? Kang Min-ho stood slowly, and Maya realized for the first time how tall he was, how much space he commanded just by existing. Because in 10 years of business, you're the first person who looked at $3,000 and chose integrity over opportunity. Because you're the first person in a very long time who hasn't wanted something from me. He paused, and his voice dropped lower. Because when you told me no just now, you weren't afraid. You were just honest. Maya's mind raced. This was insane. This man was clearly dangerous, clearly involved in something way over her head. Jennifer's warning from the night before echoed in her memory. Mr. Park's pale, nervous face. I don't even know you, she whispered. Then have coffee with me instead. 1 hour. Public place. You can leave whenever you want. Something vulnerable flickered across his face. Please. There it was again. That word that seemed so foreign in his mouth. Please. Maya knew she should say no. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But there was something in his eyes, something lonely and real beneath all that ice, that made her pause. 1 hour, she heard herself say. Coffee. Somewhere very public. The smile that transformed Kang Min-ho's face was devastating. Tomorrow. 2 o'clock. There's a cafe in Little Tokyo, Cafe Dulce. I'll text you the address. I didn't give you my number. You called my assistant from your phone. I have it. He must have seen the alarm on her face because he added quickly, I won't use it for anything else. I promise. Maya went to the office and retrieved his wallet from the safe, her hands shaking. When she returned, Kang Min-ho checked its contents with quick efficiency, then nodded. Everything's here. Thank you, Miss Johnson. Maya. Just Maya. Maya. The way he said her name, with that slight accent, did something strange to her chest. I'm Min-ho. I know. Your license. Right. He pocketed the wallet and headed for the door, then turned back. The money on the table. It's yours whether you meet me tomorrow or not. You earned it. Before she could protest again, he was gone, leaving behind the $500 and the lingering scent of expensive cologne. Jennifer appeared at her elbow immediately. Girl, what just happened? Did he ask you out? Do you know who he is? No, Maya said honestly, staring at the money on the table. I don't think I do. Kang Min-ho runs half of Koreatown, Mr. Park said quietly, emerging from the kitchen. His face was grave. Some say all of it. Import-export is a polite term. Be very careful, Maya. Very, very careful. Men like that, they don't just ask women to coffee. They own things. Control things. Maya picked up the $100 bills with numb fingers. I can say no. I can just not show up. You could, Mr. Park agreed. But something tells me you won't. He was right. Maya knew, even as she pocketed the money and finished her shift, even as she rode the bus home to her tiny studio apartment, even as she lay in bed staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m, that she was going to that cafe. Not because of the money. Not because Min-ho was beautiful, though God knows he was. But because of that crack in his armor, that moment of vulnerability when he'd said please. Because for just a second, when he looked at her, she hadn't felt like a waitress barely scraping by. She'd felt seen. Really, truly seen. And that was more dangerous than any amount of money. Maya changed her outfit 4 times before settling on a simple yellow sundress and denim jacket. She told herself it didn't matter what she wore, that this was just coffee, just an hour of her life she'd never get back. But her hands still shook as she applied lip gloss in the cracked mirror of her bathroom. You're being ridiculous, she muttered to her reflection. He's probably a criminal. He's definitely dangerous. This is the worst idea you've ever had. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Asterisk cases. Tuition got paid. Did you do that? I told you I could take out more loans. Asterisk. Maya's stomach clenched. She'd scraped together $1,500 from her tips and the money Min-ho had left, but she was still short. She'd been planning to call the bursar's office and beg for an extension. Asterisk, don't worry about it. Focus on your midterms. Love you, asterisk. She couldn't tell him the truth, that she had no idea how the rest would get paid. That she was running on fumes and prayers. Café Dulce was a small, bright space tucked between a ramen shop and a bookstore. Through the window, Maya spotted Min-ho immediately. He sat at a corner table, wearing dark jeans and a simple black t-shirt that somehow looked as expensive as his suits. He was reading something on his phone, his expression softer than she'd seen it at the restaurant. Maya's hand was on the door handle when doubt crashed over her. This was crazy. She should turn around, go home, forget this ever happened. But then Min-ho looked up and their eyes met through the glass. The smile that spread across his face was so genuine, so unexpectedly warm, that Maya found herself walking inside before she could talk herself out of it. You came. He stood, and she noticed he'd been nervous too. There was a half-empty cup of coffee in front of him, and his phone screen showed he'd been checking the time every few minutes. I said I would. Maya slid into the seat across from him. 1 hour. 1 hour, he agreed. What would you like? Their horchata latte is excellent. You've been here before? I come here to think sometimes. It's quiet. No one knows me here. He flagged down a server, ordered her drink without asking again, adding, and bring some conscious, the chocolate ones. When they were alone, Maya folded her hands on the table. So, import-export. Min-ho's laugh was short and humorless. You don't believe that. Should I? No. He met her eyes directly. My family has businesses throughout Los Angeles. Restaurants, nightclubs, real estate. Some of those businesses are completely legitimate. Some of them exist in gray areas. And some. He paused. Some of them would make you walk out of this cafe and never look back. Maya's throat was tight. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve honesty. Because I'm tired of lies. Min-ho leaned forward, his voice low and intense. My grandmother raised me after my parents died. She used to say that the measure of a person is what they do when no one is watching. When you returned that wallet, when you counted every dollar to protect my interests even though I was a stranger. He shook his head. Do you know how rare that is in my world? Do you know what people usually do? Take the money, Maya said quietly. Take everything. The money, the cards, sell the information. Then lie about it. Then threaten to go to the police if I don't pay them more. His jaw clenched. That wallet was a test, Maya. I leave it places sometimes to see what people do. My assistant places cameras, watches what happens. In 5 years, you're the first person who tried to return it. The first. The drinks arrived, and Maya wrapped her hands around the warm cup, needing something to anchor her. That's really sad. That's my reality. Min-ho's voice was bitter. Everyone wants something. Everyone has an angle. Everyone. I don't want anything from you, Maya interrupted. I didn't return your wallet to get something. I did it because it was right. Because my mama taught me that you have to live with yourself, and I couldn't live with being the kind of person who steals. Your mother sounds like she was a remarkable woman. She was. Maya's eyes burned. She died when I was 21. Heart attack. No warning. One day she was laughing at the kitchen table, the next day she was gone. I'm sorry. And he sounded like he truly meant it. My parents died when I was 17. Car accident. My grandmother said they were together when they went, so at least they weren't alone. He stared into his coffee. But I was. Very alone. Is that when you took over the family business? Yes. I was a kid who should have been worrying about college applications, and instead I was learning how to manage territories and negotiate with men who wanted to kill me. His voice was flat, matter of fact. My grandmother tried to protect me, but she was old. Sick. She died 3 years later. And then there was no one. Maya reached across the table and touched his hand. The contact was electric, his skin warm, his fingers tensing then relaxing under hers. I understand being alone. After Mama died, it was just me and Marcus. He was 15. I had to become his parent overnight while grieving her. I had to figure out how to keep us fed, keep him in school, keep us from falling apart. Is that why you work yourself to death at Soul Garden? Min-ho asked softly. For your brother? For both of us. He's going to USC. Pre-law. He's going to be something, Min-ho. Something real and legitimate and good. He's going to have the life Mama wanted for us. Her voice cracked. Even if I have to kill myself to give it to him. You shouldn't have to. Min-ho's hand turned under hers, his fingers lacing through hers. You shouldn't have to sacrifice everything. Says the man who took over a criminal empire at 17. Exactly. Says the man who knows what it costs. His eyes were intense, burning into hers. I see you, Maya. Working doubles, dealing with people throwing plates at your head, counting every dollar in a stranger's wallet to make sure he gets it back. I see how exhausted you are. How scared. How you're drowning, but you keep smiling because that's what people need from you. Tears spilled down Maya's cheeks before she could stop them. Don't. Please don't. Why not? Because if you see me, really see me, then I can't pretend anymore. I can't pretend I'm fine. I can't pretend I'm not terrified every single day that I'm going to fail Marcus, that I'm going to lose him like I lost Mama. She pulled her hand back, wiping her face roughly. And I can't afford to fall apart. Not even for an hour. Min-ho was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, what if you didn't have to pretend? What if someone saw you falling apart and caught you? People like me don't get caught. We just fall. Not with me. His voice was fierce, protective. Never with me. Maya looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the same loneliness she felt every morning when she woke up. The same bone-deep exhaustion of carrying everything alone. The same desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, someone would understand. This is crazy, she whispered. We're from completely different worlds. So you're a, what did Mr. Park call it? You run half of Koreatown. I'm a waitress who can barely make rent. You're a woman who chose integrity over $3,000. You're a sister who sacrifices everything for her brother. You're someone who looks at me and sees a person, not a weapon or an opportunity. Min-ho leaned forward. Do you know how long it's been since someone saw me as just a person? Do you know how dangerous you are? Maya countered, but her voice was soft. Do you? Never. I would never hurt you. That's not what I mean. You're dangerous because you make me want things I can't have. Because you look at me like I matter. Because for the first time in 5 years, I don't feel alone. She stood abruptly. I have to go. Maya, wait. No. This was a mistake. Thank you for the coffee, but we can't. She grabbed her purse, nearly knocking over her untouched drink. Min-ho stood too, his hand catching her wrist gently. One more thing. Please. Just one more thing, then I'll let you go. Maya stopped, her heart breaking. What? Your brother's tuition. It's paid. All of it. For the whole year. She froze. What did you do? I made a donation to USC's scholarship fund this morning. Anonymous. They'll notify him that he's received a merit scholarship. He'll never know it came from me. No. Maya jerked her hand free. No, absolutely not. I don't need your money. I don't need you to save me. I know you don't need it. Min-ho's voice rose with frustration. God, Maya, I know you don't need it. You'd claw your way through broken glass before you asked anyone for help. But I wanted to do it. Is that so wrong? To want to help someone who helped me? To want to give something to the first person in a decade who didn't want anything from me? Yes. Maya's voice cracked. Yes, it's wrong, because now I owe you. Because now there's this thing between us that I can never repay. Because you just made this, whatever this is, complicated in a way I can't handle. You don't owe me anything. That's not how the world works. That's not how your world works. Min-ho stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, feel the heat radiating from his body. Then change my world. Show me how yours works. Teach me what it's like to give without expecting anything back. Because Maya, I swear to God, I don't want anything from you except this, except the way you look at me like I'm not a monster. Like I could be something different. Maya's resolve crumbled. You're going to break my heart. You know that, right? This ends badly. Maybe, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe. His phone rang, shattering the moment. Min-ho glanced at the screen, and his entire demeanor changed. The softness vanished, replaced by cold authority. I have to take this. Business. He stepped away, his voice dropping to rapid Korean. Maya watched the transformation, the warm man she'd been talking to disappearing behind a wall of ice and command. This was who he really was. This was the world he lived in. When he returned, his eyes were apologetic. I have to go. Something's come up. Of course it has. Maya, it's fine. Really. Thank you for the coffee. And the scholarship. Marcus deserves it. She headed for the door before she could do something stupid like ask him to stay. Can I see you again? Min-ho called after her. Maya turned, her hand on the door. Every logical part of her brain screamed no. But her heart, her stupid, lonely heart, said yes. Maybe, she whispered. Maybe. It wasn't a no. And from the way Min-ho's face lit up, it might as well have been a promise. 2 weeks passed like a fever dream. Min-ho showed up at Seoul Garden every other night, always sitting in Maya's section, always leaving tips that made her uncomfortable and grateful in equal measure. They talked about everything and nothing. He told her about growing up in 2 worlds, Korean and American, never fully belonging to either. She told him about her father, who'd returned to Nigeria when she was 10 and never came back, leaving her mama to raise 2 kids alone. Come to the park with me, Min-ho said one evening after her shift. Please. I want to show you something. Maya should have said no. She should have maintained boundaries. But Marcus had called earlier, ecstatic about his scholarship, his voice full of hope for the first time in months. And Maya was so tired of being strong, of being alone. Okay, she heard herself say. They drove to a small park overlooking the city, downtown LA glittering in the distance. Min-ho spread out a blanket and produced a container of homemade kimbap. My grandmother's recipe. I made it myself. You cook? Maya couldn't hide her surprise. I do many things people don't expect. He smiled, that devastating smile that made her forget all her reservations. Try it. The kimbap was delicious. Perfectly seasoned rice, vegetables, and bulgogi wrapped in crispy seaweed. They ate in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over the city. My grandmother used to say that the measure of a person is what they do when no one is watching, Min-ho said quietly. That night with the wallet, I was watching. Through cameras. I saw you count every dollar. I saw you write it down. I saw your friend tell you to take it, and I saw you refuse. He turned to face her. I saw you choose integrity when you thought no one would ever know. So it really was a test. At first. But not anymore. Now it's just this. You and me. He reached for her hand. Maya, I'm trying to change. I'm pulling out of the illegal operations. Real estate, legitimate restaurants, tech investments. It's going to take time, and it's making me enemies, but I'm doing it. Why? Because of you. Because you looked at me and saw someone who could be better. Because I want to be the kind of man who deserves someone like you. His voice dropped to a whisper. Because I'm falling in love with you, and I can't do that while running an empire built on fear. Maya's breath caught. Min-ho, you don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know. I needed you to understand that you changed everything. She should have been scared. She should have run. Instead, she leaned forward and kissed him, soft and tentative and full of promise. He responded carefully, like she was something precious, something that might break. When they pulled apart, Maya rested her forehead against his. I'm falling too. God help me, I'm falling so hard. Then fall with me. Let me catch you. For 3 perfect weeks, Maya let herself believe in fairy tales. Min-ho sent groceries to her apartment. He had her ancient heater fixed without asking. He showed up at the restaurant with Korean skincare products after she mentioned being tired, with books she'd mentioned wanting to read, with small thoughtful gestures that made her heart ache. He met Marcus, who was suspicious at first, but softened when he saw how Min-ho looked at his sister, like she hung the moon and stars. He's good for you, Marcus admitted after Min-ho left. I haven't seen you smile like this since before Mama died. Maya wanted to freeze time, to live in this bubble forever. But reality had other plans. It started with a news article Marcus found. Sis, you need to see this. The headline made her blood run cold. Kang Min-ho, alleged head of Korean organized crime syndicate under federal investigation. Tell me this isn't true, Maya said when she confronted Min-ho that night. They were at her apartment, and she thrust her phone at him with shaking hands. Tell me you're not. I can't lie to you. Min-ho's face was grave. My family's business, it's complicated. I inherited something I didn't ask for, and yes, some of it crosses lines. But Maya, I'm trying to fix it. I'm legitimizing everything. That's why. Why you're making enemies. She laughed bitterly. Min-ho, there are allegations here about trafficking, about violence, about God, I can't even read some of this. Most of it is exaggerated. Some of it is lies from rivals. But some of it. He ran his hand through his hair. Some of it is true. And I can't change the past. I can only try to be better now. You lied to me. I never lied. I just didn't tell you everything. Would you have even spoken to me if you knew? Would you have given me a chance? Maya's eyes filled with tears. I deserved the choice. I deserved to know what I was getting into. You're right. You did. And I'm sorry. Min-ho reached for her, but she stepped back. Maya, please. I need time. I need to think about this, about us, about whether I can live in your world. Don't decide now. Please. Just go, Maya whispered. Please just go. The look of devastation on his face nearly broke her resolve, but she held firm. After he left, she collapsed on her couch and cried until she had nothing left. 2 weeks of silence. Maya threw herself into work, ignoring Min-ho's calls, deleting his texts without reading them. Mr. Park watched her with sad eyes, but said nothing. Jennifer tried to cheer her up, but Maya was hollow inside. Then came the night that changed everything. Maya was closing the restaurant alone when a black sedan pulled up. 2 men got out, not Min-ho's people. She knew that instinctively from the cold calculation in their eyes. You Maya Johnson? The taller one asked in accented English. Who's asking? Tell Kang Min-ho he can't just walk away from our arrangement. Tell him we know about his little waitress girlfriend. Tell him we know where her brother goes to school. Terror flooded Maya's veins. Leave Marcus out of this. Then convince your boyfriend to honor his commitments. The man stepped closer, and Maya saw the gun tucked in his waistband. Or there will be consequences. The moment they left, Maya called Min-ho with shaking hands. He answered on the first ring. Maya? Are you okay? They came to the restaurant. They threatened Marcus. Min-ho, I'm scared. Stay there. I'm coming. Lock the doors. Don't let anyone in. He arrived within 10 minutes with 3 cars full of men. The cold, dangerous Min-ho was fully present now, barking orders in Korean, his face a mask of fury. But when he reached Maya, huddled behind the locked restaurant door, his expression shattered. Did they touch you? His hands moved over her arms, her face checking for injuries. No, but Min-ho Marcus is safe. I have people at his dorm right now. No one will hurt him. I swear to you. He pulled her into his arms, and Maya let herself break, sobbing into his chest. This is why I stayed away, he said against her hair. I knew this would happen. I knew my world would touch you, and I couldn't. I can't let them hurt you. Maya pulled back, looking up at him through tears. You don't get to make decisions for me. I'm not some fragile doll that needs protecting. I'm a grown woman who can make her own choices. And what do you choose? It was the same question from that first coffee date, but now it carried so much more weight. Maya thought about her mama's lessons about integrity, about doing right even when no one was watching. But she also thought about Min-ho's grandmother's words, about the measure of a person. I choose to test you, she said firmly. You tested me with that wallet. Now I'm testing you. Can you really leave this life? Can you become the man you say you want to be? Not for me, but for yourself. I'm already doing it. I've been liquidating the illegal operations for months. That's why they're threatening you, because I'm cutting them off. Then finish it. Make the choice fully. Because Min-ho, I can't love you halfway. I can't love the good parts and ignore the rest. It's all or nothing. You love me. His voice was raw with hope. I'm terrified of how much I love you. But I need you to be honest with yourself, with me, with the world. No more gray areas. No more complicated. Just clean, legitimate business. Can you do that? Min-ho cupped her face in his hands. You're worth more than any empire. You're worth more than any amount of power or money. If choosing you means burning everything else down, then hand me the matches. I'm not asking you to choose me. I'm asking you to choose yourself. To be the man your grandmother believed you could be. Then I choose honor. I choose legitimacy. I choose a life I don't have to hide from you. He kissed her forehead. And yes, Maya, I choose you. Every single day, I choose you. 3 months later, Maya stood in a beautiful dress at the grand opening of Min-ho's new cultural center, a legitimate business promoting Korean-American entrepreneurship. Marcus had a paid internship there, learning about international business law. Min-ho had successfully transitioned his entire operation to legal enterprises, though it had cost him relationships and power. But standing there watching him give his speech, seeing how he'd transformed himself, Maya knew he'd gained something far more valuable. My grandmother taught me that honor isn't about power, Min-ho said to the assembled crowd. It's about choices. Someone once reminded me of that when she returned a wallet she could have easily kept. That woman taught me that the smallest act of integrity can change everything. He looked directly at Maya, and his smile was radiant. After the event, they walked hand in hand through the center. Min-ho stopped in front of his office, where behind glass sat the wallet that started everything. You kept it, Maya said softly. I keep everything that matters. He pulled her close. The wallet was a test. But you, Maya Johnson, you're the answer. To every question I didn't know I was asking. That's incredibly cheesy, Maya said, but she was smiling through tears. I'm allowed to be cheesy. I'm in love. Yeah, Maya whispered, standing on her toes to kiss him. Me too. In the end, it wasn't the money in the wallet that changed their lives. It was the choice Maya made when no one was watching to do what was right, even when it was hard. And that choice opened the door to a love neither of them expected, a transformation neither of them thought possible, and a future built not on power or fear, but on honesty, integrity, and two lonely people who found home in each other.